We are a family of 4 leaving the UK to travel as a family. Not out of fear or politics, but because we're intentionally choosing to live our best life as a family. I'm going to go through our 7 reasons to why we are leaving. I will touch on the elephant in the room, so I'll add on a number 8, but it's not really our reason. And then at the end, I'll update you with where we're at, because we have sold our house, we've sold everything, but we are still in the UK. I've got a more in-depth video on that, so you can check that out at the end. But I will update you on where we're at and how much longer we're expected to be here before we get going. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome to my channel, welcome back to my Mindful Family Life. This playlist is all about our journey to travel, leaving the UK and to travel full-time as a family. So let's get started. So number 1 is, and it's my biggie, it is my big reason for leaving the UK. Number 1 is the sun. Oh. Yes, the sun. I used to work on cruise ships, how long ago now? 26 years ago. I was 19 when I started working on cruise ships, and I loved it. And I remember at 19 saying I would never reside in the UK, as in I would never end up in my later adult years living in the UK because of the weather. So I've had that in the back of my mind for 26 years. This has not been a new thing. So I come alive in the sun. When I worked on the cruise ships, it just felt different. I didn't have to think about what to take with me every time I went out, what to wear, pack a coat, an umbrella, gloves, scarves, the lot. Oh, it was just a different way of being because of the sun. And so it's massive for me. Now, obviously in adult years, you think you can't just leave and do, you can't just do this because of the sun. So I have for a number of years thought that's a silly thing. You can't just leave because of that. You can't just leave because of that. And I've put it away, but it's still been there. It's just the undercurrent, and that is my main reason for wanting to leave. Which leads into number 2, which is the lifestyle. So because of the weather, we can have the lifestyle we want. We live currently, or we did, it's weird not saying it now, but we used to live in Cumbria, the lovely Lake District in England. It's lovely, it's beautiful, it's idyllic, it really is. But the weather, unless you're the type of person who embraces all the extremes, goes up fell walking in all weathers, then that's for you, but it wasn't for us, So, and when we did venture out to the lakes on the nicer days, it was just jam-packed, and you don't enjoy it because of that. There was one weekend and it was really hot weather for the whole weekend. You can imagine what it was like. We went down, got there really early. It was already rammed. You can't have it all, but it is a nice place. We do love it here. But the outside lifestyle, we just couldn't handle it. Our daughter, my eldest, she loves the outdoors. She would much rather be outside. And my youngest is like me, she hates the cold. So for a family, the lifestyle we want, this outdoors lifestyle, is why we're doing this as well. Number 3, to be together as a family. So there's a saying that comes to mind when I talk about this, and it's they get the best of you, we get the rest of you. So that implies, whether your kids go to school, whether your hubby's at work and you're at home, let's take that example, they get the best of them and we get the dregs, we get what's left, we get what energy they've got. When you're around your comfort people, you are your true you. So if you've had a hard day at work, a hard day at school, you're going to come back to mum and go blah. And, that's what happens. You don't get to see the best of them very much, Evenings, they're tired. They need to go to bed, your kids, and us. And then you might get a few weeks holiday if you're lucky, if you can afford it. And that's not what we wanted. So we've home educated now for 4 years. So we get the best of our kids. But it wasn't enough. My hubby was working away. He worked in forestry, he lived in a caravan down in the South Lakes, we were in the North Lakes. And he was working away 5 days a week. Now I grew up with that. My dad worked on the rigs, on the oil rigs off Aberdeen. And I know what that's like, being a daughter to a dad who works away. And weirdly, I preferred him working away because I saw more of him. Sounds silly, but he would work 2 weeks away, but when he was home for 2 weeks. He'd take me to school, he'd bring me back. I actually saw more of him. But this all history repeating, right? So hubby was working away. My daughters were going through what I went through. They weren't seeing the dad. I wasn't seeing my husband. My eldest child is undiagnosed neurodivergent. I needed support. We don't have a lot of family, come on to that. So I wasn't getting any help with the difficult times. So it was hard. So we wanted to be together as a family. We want connection. That's what I'm all about on this channel, family connection. It was a big driving force for us. So when it came to a head and I was like screaming out for help, like this has to change, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, what we're going to do, then we decided and thought about this. So this leads on to number 4, Worldschooling. So another reason why we're leaving and travelling as a family, when we started home educating, we heard the term Worldschooling. And so it was always out there. It was always a thought. And we thought one day it would be our dream and we would world school and we would show our kids and travel the world. We thought it was a dream. We thought one day. But when all this happened, it was a case of, do we just do it now? Do we just do it now? Having lost 3 out of 4 of our parents, we know the preciousness of life, how precious our life is. And we know we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So one day then became maybe now. So that's what happened. Why, another reason was the Worldschooling. Number 5, like I've mentioned, we don't have much family left because 3 out of 4 of our parents have died. And, you know, if you've gone through this in your life, you know, people drop away, family and friends. So we were left with a small group of friends. They're brilliant. We love them to bits. We are going to miss them. They're not of our wavelength. They're not of our similar outlook. And so one reason to do this is to find people that are doing it as well and doing it for the similar reasons and similar mindsets, and find some more family and tribe and friends, however you want to call it. So that's our number 5. Number 6, finances. So not much money left to live on with one wage, to really live. So as I was home educating and hubby's working away, we just had that one wage. We kind of lived a little bit, I'd say it was a bit more than surviving, but it wasn't really thriving. It was somewhere in the middle. And that got too much. You know, we hadn't been on holiday abroad for 7 years. Our youngest had never been. That's how much we couldn't afford things. So we sold our caravan that Richard had down to work. He had a big caravan, so we downsized that because only he was getting the use out of it. The idea was that we'd have this big family caravan and we lived on the border between Cumbria and Scotland, that we'd go into Scotland most weekends and really enjoy our life. But it never happened. The reality was, down from South Lakes up to North Lakes with a massive caravan, it took a good couple of hours. So it's like half a day to get it up, to pick us up, to go to Scotland for the weekend and then come down and another half day lost. So a weekend away, out of self-employed work, you know what that's like, adding on 2 half days, it's very costly to lose that money. So when you think it's just a weekend, it turned out more, and we couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford to lose that full day's pay, because that equates to a full day, right? So we never used it. So that caravan got downsized to a 2-berth. So it was smaller just for him. And the money we got from that went towards a holiday abroad this time last year to Lanzarote, January last year. And this is when everything kicked off. So I have said this in other videos, but I'll briefly mention it. We were thinking about this. We went and got our house valued. And so we went to Lanzarote with that in mind. We're potentially going to sell this house. And even while we were over there, we were speaking to the photographer at the hotel, and she was Spanish, but she did her training, a 4-year photography training over in London. And she said I had to come back. I got depressed because of the weather. So that goes and says it as well. It emphasised the point that I'd been making all these years, and Richard just rolling his eyes at it. It was actually, oh yeah, someone else is saying it. So yeah, we went to Lanzarote. We had that taste of it. I knew it would spark something in me and my life on cruise ships and what I said. And it was then that I realised I said it 26 years ago. And I thought, what? Because I say something and I do it. I go and do it. I don't want to live in regret. So to realise it was 26 years ago I said that, I was like, we've got to do something. And then that was it. We came back. We actually had a private sale, which then fell through middle of the year. And then we sold again, and we've only just sold now, 19th of December. So that's it in a shorter version. But yeah, we didn't have the money to live the life we wanted to live, the way we were living it. Number 7. And probably a close one to the sun, to number 1, but live with intention and no regrets. This is massive for me. Live with intention and no regrets. Because this has been in the back of our minds for a while, this worldschooling, this being together as a family, this connection, this outdoor living, because all that has been in our minds, it's a case of I'd feel regret if I didn't try it. Now, yes, we're on here showcasing it all, showing our journey, alongside my mindfulness that I do, right? And it's not to influence, I hate that word. It's not to influence you. It's to encourage you to live your life your way. It's not about influencing you to leave the UK and do what we're doing. This is our journey. It might not be yours. It might be, and that's great. I'll help you any way I can. But if your journey's different, are you really doing it? Are you living your life? That's what it's about. Living with intention and no regrets, because life is short. We know that, having lost 3 or 4 of our parents. So an added bonus, number 8, it's not really our, or at least my, reason for leaving the UK, but I want to address it. It's the elephant in the room. It's the reason that people think we're doing this, to get out the UK, to get out of the decline of the UK, all the politics related to it. It's gone down, it's not safe, all this stuff. We decided this, like we're really doing it a year ago. We actually were doing it a year ago. We'd been thinking about Worldschooling prior to that. The decline of the UK really has ramped up within that year, and people will call it a hot topic. It's not our reason though. This is really ramped up in the last year, since we've decided to do this. So I can't say that's our reason. Yes, it's probably added and contributed with that we're doing the right thing, perhaps, maybe, but it's not our reason. Living in Cumbria, we don't see all what's put on social media. We don't see it here, not where we are, but we know it exists, and we know that there are people saying that it's not safe, etc., etc. We're not naive, but we just don't see it, and And that's not our reason because of that. An update on where we're at. Like I said, we are still here in the UK, even though we've sold. A whole other video on that, check that out. But we are back in Cumbria after being in the northeast over Christmas and New Year. And we are staying at a friend's, this lovely house here. In fact, I am sat, this is ironic, isn't it? I am sat on our settee that we bought and sold to our friend. Our friend loved this sofa, so she bought it off us. And now I'm sat here on it, having sold our house. It's so weird, but it's a lovely sofa. So yes, we're back in Cumbria. I'm trying to look at my notes here. We are having a bit of a run around with energy companies and council tax, having done all the meter readings, having phoned them up and changed addresses, all this stuff. And then you're getting emails that conflict with each other, then you're having to spend ages on the phone. Ugh, like, you don't need it, right? It's more stress. But again, that's why we're still here, sorting all these admins out. Obviously, there's been a break with Christmas and everything, so now we're dealing with it all now. Just want to pay our bill and be done with it, right? We are still awaiting my driving licence. Hubby got his, he did it through digital. I tried, but it didn't recognise my identity. So I had to do the paper copy, good old tech, eh? So I did it, I sent that on the 23rd, next day delivery recorded. They received it on Christmas Eve, so who knows when that comes back. We went to check the post the other day and it wasn't there. Tried ringing them to see how long it would be. They recorded message said it could take up to 3 weeks. And I decided to try and wait and speak to somebody to clarify that. And the wait was an hour long. And we could request a call back, which I did, and then they never did. So another thing we're dealing with. And we want that back so that we can then go and apply for the international driving licence. I know you don't necessarily need it. We've been following some people on here who have said they have had some difficulties not having it. So it's just out of ease. Do it this side, then it makes life easy that side, right? And then, we've got an appointment with the accountant next week. So that's to look at Richard's books and everything and to have that going forward. And we're also going to talk about potentially leaving the UK tax system completely and whether it's worth it for us or, you know, pros and cons of doing that. So we're going to talk to them about that. So that's next week, early next week. And then I think we might just be there to book the flights, book the accommodation and the insurance. That'll be the last 3 things to do and we're there, we're done. So we're hoping by the end of next week into early week after we'll be done. And that's where we're at. So I hope that has cleared things up a little bit as to our real reasons why we're leaving. And check out the other videos here to get you up to date with everything. I'm also doing walk around videos of the Airbnbs that we've stayed at, albeit in the UK, but we'll carry on doing that when we get over there too. So yeah, follow this playlist, Living Our Best Life, and I've also got Living Mindfully as well. So check those out. And the next video I'm going to do is going to be about our intentions of what we're doing. So what we think it will look like over there. So if you want to watch whether our intentions match the reality, do subscribe and follow along for the journey. Thanks for watching. Much love. Bye for now.